Hello there, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. Tonight we gently drift far from the warmth of the inner solar system and travel outward to a quiet, distant world where sunlight is faint and time moves slowly. We are exploring Pluto, not as a forgotten planet or a point of debate, but as a calm, ancient companion at the edge of our solar neighbourhood. Before we begin, allow your body to settle naturally. Let your shoulders relax, your hands rest comfortably, and your breathing soften into its own unforced rhythm. There is nothing you need to focus on closely, and nothing you need to remember. The day can fade now, becoming quieter with each breath. Pluto moves through space with patience. Its orbit is long and gentle, taking centuries to complete a single journey around the Sun. In this distant region, change happens slowly. Temperatures remain steady in their cold stillness, and the silence of space feels deep and complete. As we continue, we'll explore the most relaxing facts about Pluto, its calm motion, its icy surface, its quiet moons, and its place in the outer reaches of the solar system. These facts are not meant to excite or overwhelm. They are meant to slow your thoughts, soften your attention, and guide you gently toward rest. If you enjoy these calm journeys through the gentle side of science, you're always welcome to subscribe and return whenever you need quiet curiosity or peaceful sleep. But for now, allow your awareness to drift outward, beyond Neptune, into the cold, steady calm where Pluto continues its slow and silent path. Let's begin. Pluto feels calming because of how slowly it moves through space. A single orbit around the Sun takes about 248 Earth years, meaning that everything about Pluto unfolds at an unhurried pace. Seasons last for decades, sunlight changes gradually, and nothing about this distant world happens quickly. This slow rhythm creates a natural sense of rest, as if Pluto exists in a timescale where rushing simply does not exist. The sunlight that reaches Pluto is soft and distant, arriving after travelling billions of kilometres through space. At that distance, the Sun is no longer bright or warm, but a small, steady glow in the sky. This faint light creates long, gentle shadows across Pluto's icy surface, contributing to an environment that feels quiet, muted, and deeply still. Pluto's surface is made largely of ice, including frozen nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide. These ices do not melt or flow quickly. Instead, they remain solid and calm for long periods of time, reshaping the landscape very slowly. Vast plains of frozen nitrogen stretch across Pluto, appearing smooth and undisturbed, reinforcing the sense that this world is shaped by patience rather than force. Pluto's gravity is much weaker than Earth's, which means everything there feels lighter and less bound. If you could stand on Pluto, movements would feel slow and gentle, and even a small step would carry you farther than expected. This reduced gravity contributes to a feeling of softness, as though the planet itself encourages ease rather than effort. Despite its small size, Pluto has a surprisingly complex and balanced structure. Beneath its icy surface, scientists believe there may be a rocky core and possibly even a subsurface ocean. This hidden depth adds to Pluto's calm mystery, suggesting quiet layers that remain untouched and undisturbed beneath the frozen exterior. Pluto's largest moon, Charon, moves with it in a slow and graceful dance. Rather than orbiting in the usual way, Pluto and Charon revolve around a shared centre of gravity. This balanced motion feels cooperative rather than dominant, like two quiet companions moving together through space without conflict or haste. The colours on Pluto are subtle and soothing. Soft whites, pale blues, muted reds, and gentle browns blend across its surface. These tones come from complex organic molecules formed over long periods of exposure to cosmic radiation. The colours do not shout for attention, but instead settle into the landscape quietly, enhancing Pluto's tranquil appearance. Pluto's atmosphere is thin and delicate, expanding and contracting as it moves closer to or farther from the Sun, This atmosphere can freeze and fall gently onto the surface like snow, then slowly return to gas again over many years. This cycle is not dramatic or sudden, but gradual and soft, matching Pluto's overall calm nature. Because Pluto is so far away, it exists largely beyond the noise of the inner solar system. Solar winds are weaker, gravitational disturbances are minimal, and nearby objects are few. This isolation allows Pluto to remain undisturbed, drifting through space in relative silence, far removed from constant motion and interaction. Pluto does not signal endings or conclusions. Its long orbit, steady cold and quiet presence suggests continuity rather than change. It remains where it is, moving slowly, holding its place at the edge of the solar system, allowing time to pass without pressure, without urgency, and without any need to conclude. Pluto's temperature remains extremely cold throughout its long journey around the Sun, often resting around -200 degrees Celsius. This deep cold does not fluctuate quickly or dramatically. Instead, it holds steady for decades at a time, creating an environment where change happens slowly and predictably, reinforcing the feeling that Pluto exists in a state of near-permanent stillness. The surface of Pluto shows signs of slow geological movement rather than violent activity. Large regions appear smooth and softly contoured, shaped by the gradual movement of frozen nitrogen ice over millions of years. These changes happen so slowly that they resemble rest more than motion, as if the planet reshapes itself without ever disturbing its own calm. Pluto's position in the Kuiper Belt places it among many small icy objects that all move gently around the Sun. This shared neighborhood feels quiet and spacious, with wide distances between objects and very little interaction. Pluto does not dominate this region, but exists comfortably within it, contributing to a sense of peaceful coexistence. The light cycle on Pluto is long and unhurried. A single day on Pluto lasts a little over 6 Earth days, meaning sunlight rises and sets very slowly. Shadows move gradually across the surface, allowing light and darkness to transition gently, without sudden changes that could disrupt the calm environment. Pluto's axial tilt is extreme, causing its seasons to be dramatic in length but not in intensity. Seasons can last for many decades, yet the changes between them unfold slowly. This extended seasonal rhythm allows the planet to settle into each phase deeply, rather than moving quickly from one state to another. The atmosphere of Pluto is so thin that it behaves more like a soft veil than a layer of air. It drifts gently above the surface, expanding and contracting without turbulence. When it freezes and falls back to the ground, it does so quietly, adding to the surface without disturbance. Pluto's distance from the Sun means that solar radiation arrives weak and diffuse. There is no harsh glare or intense warmth. Instead, energy reaches Pluto in a softened form, allowing its environment to remain stable and unreactive, untouched by sudden energetic shifts. Pluto's terrain includes mountains made of water ice, which at those temperatures behaves like solid rock. These mountains rise slowly from the surface, appearing ancient and unmoving. Their presence adds structure without aggression, creating a landscape that feels firm yet peaceful. Because Pluto is so small, internal pressures remain low compared to larger planets. This reduces the likelihood of violent internal processes. Any internal activity that may exist unfolds gently, without earthquakes or eruptions that would break the planet's calm exterior. Pluto continues its quiet motion through space without signaling importance or insignificance. It simply follows its long, steady path, interacting gently with gravity and light, existing within the solar system at its own pace, without needing to arrive anywhere or change its role. Pluto's orbit is not a perfect circle, but a long stretched ellipse that carries it gently closer to and farther from the Sun over centuries. This slow variation does not create sudden changes. Instead, it introduces gradual shifts that unfold across generations, reinforcing the sense that Pluto experiences time as a wide, unhurried flow rather than a sequence of moments. As Pluto travels along this extended orbit, it sometimes moves closer to the Sun than Neptune, yet the two worlds never collide or disturb one another. Their paths remain calmly synchronized through gravitational balance, demonstrating how even complex motion in space can remain orderly and peaceful without conflict. Pluto's surface pressure is extremely low, far thinner than any atmosphere on Earth. This means there are no winds strong enough to sculpt the landscape quickly. Any movement of material occurs slowly, almost imperceptibly, allowing the surface to remain smooth and settled for long periods of time. The plains of Pluto, especially the vast region known as Sputnik Planitia, appear almost untouched by impacts. This suggests that the surface renews itself very gradually, smoothing over marks left by passing time. This quiet renewal happens without noise or force, maintaining a calm appearance across millions of years. Pluto's moons orbit with steady, predictable motion. Each follows a stable path, influenced gently by gravity rather than pulled sharply into place. This slow choreography creates a system that feels balanced and cooperative, where nothing rushes or pulls too hard. Charon, Pluto's largest moon, keeps the same face turned toward Pluto at all times, just as Pluto keeps the same face toward Charon. This mutual tidal locking creates a stable visual relationship where neither body surprises the other and orientation remains constant across time. The smaller moons of Pluto move farther out, tracing wide, calm orbits that take many days to complete. Their motion is quiet and consistent, adding to the sense that Pluto's system is spacious and undisturbed, with plenty of room for each object to exist comfortably. Pluto's weak gravity allows fine particles to settle slowly onto its surface. Nothing crashes or compacts forcefully. Instead, material accumulates gently, creating layers that reflect long spans of time rather than moments of impact. Because Pluto receives so little sunlight, its surface temperature remains stable for extended periods. This thermal consistency prevents expansion and contraction that might otherwise disturb the landscape, allowing ice and rock to remain at rest. Pluto continues to move through its distant region of space with a rhythm shaped by gravity alone, interacting softly with its surroundings, maintaining steady motion and remaining comfortably embedded in the quiet outer solar system without urgency or interruption. Pluto's distance from Earth means that it exists far beyond daily awareness, untouched by human schedules or expectations. Its presence is quiet and distant, allowing it to remain unchanged by observation. This separation from constant attention contributes to a feeling of deep calm, as Pluto continues on its path regardless of whether it is being watched or studied. The surface of Pluto shows very few signs of erosion caused by rapid processes. There is no flowing liquid water, no rain, and no rushing wind. Instead, the landscape is shaped by slow sublimation and gentle deposition of ice, processes that take place over immense spans of time and leave behind smooth, softened features. Pluto's long winters can last for many decades, during which large portions of the surface remain in continuous darkness. This extended night does not bring sudden change or disruption. Temperatures remain steady, and the environment settles into a prolonged state of quiet stillness that mirrors deep rest. Even during Pluto's brief summers, sunlight arrives softly and indirectly. The sun remains low in the sky, never rising high or casting intense light. This low-angle illumination creates long shadows and muted contrasts, maintaining a calm visual environment that never feels harsh or overwhelming. Pluto's interior is thought to be layered, with a rocky core beneath thick ice. These layers have remained largely unchanged for billions of years. The stillness of this internal structure suggests a world that has settled into itself, holding its form without pressure or upheaval. The absence of strong magnetic fields around Pluto means there are no dramatic interactions with solar wind. Charged particles pass by gently, without creating intense auroras or energetic displays. This lack of electromagnetic activity contributes to Pluto's quiet and understated character. Pluto's surface chemistry evolves very slowly. Exposure to cosmic radiation gradually alters surface molecules, creating subtle color changes over long periods. These changes are so slow that they feel more like aging than transformation, adding depth without disturbance. Because Pluto is small, heat escapes from its interior easily and gradually. This prevents the build-up of internal pressure that might lead to violent activity. Any warmth moves outward quietly, allowing the planet to remain calm and stable. Pluto's gravity influences nearby space gently rather than forcefully. Small particles and moons follow smooth paths around it, guided rather than pulled. This gentle influence creates motion that feels cooperative and unstrained. Pluto continues along its distant orbit through the Kuiper belt, surrounded by vast empty space, maintaining steady motion, quiet balance, and a sense of unbroken stillness that remains open and ongoing. Pluto's surface gravity allows landscapes to remain largely undisturbed for immense periods of time. Craters soften slowly, edges relax, and features fade rather than break apart. This gentle aging gives the surface a smoothed, settled appearance, as if the planet has learned how to rest within its own form. The lack of liquid water activity on Pluto means there are no rushing processes to reshape the land. Without rivers, waves, or storms, the planet remains free from rapid change. What alteration does occur happens through slow freezing and sublimation, allowing the environment to remain quiet and stable. Pluto's rotation is steady and unhurried, completing one turn on its axis every several Earth days. This slow spin gives light and shadow time to move calmly across the surface, creating transitions that feel gradual and predictable rather than sudden or disruptive. Because Pluto's atmosphere is so thin, sound would not travel there in any meaningful way. The environment exists in near-complete silence, where nothing echoes or vibrates. This deep quiet reinforces the sense that Pluto is a place defined by stillness rather than activity. Pluto's color variations are subtle and balanced, formed over long spans of time by gentle chemical changes. There are no sharp contrasts or intense brightness. Instead, the surface displays soft gradations that feel calm to observe, as though the planet avoids visual extremes. The distance between Pluto and its moons is wide enough to allow each object to exist without crowding. Their orbits do not intersect or interfere. This spacious arrangement creates a system where movement feels respectful and unpressured, with each body maintaining its own calm path. Pluto's interaction with cosmic dust is minimal and slow. Tiny particles settle quietly onto the surface over time, adding layers so thin they are almost imperceptible. This gentle accumulation reflects patience rather than impact, contributing to the planet's serene character. The long-term stability of Pluto's orbit allows it to remain part of the solar system without disturbance. Despite its unusual path, gravitational balance keeps it steady, demonstrating how complexity and motion can still result in calm continuity. Pluto's isolation reduces the likelihood of frequent collisions. Impacts are rare, and when they do occur, they become part of the landscape slowly, blending into the surface rather than standing out sharply. This rarity of disruption supports a sense of lasting peace. Pluto continues to move through the outer solar system, in quiet companionship with distant objects, following its gentle trajectory, maintaining steady presence, and remaining comfortably settled within the slow, open rhythm of deep space. Pluto's position at the edge of the solar system allows it to exist beyond most gravitational disturbances. Large planets no longer tug strongly at its path, and passing objects rarely come close. This freedom from constant interaction lets Pluto maintain a steady, uninterrupted rhythm as it moves quietly through space. The light that reaches Pluto changes very gradually over time. As its orbit slowly shifts, the amount of sunlight increases or decreases over decades rather than days. These slow adjustments allow the surface to adapt without stress, reinforcing a sense of patience built into the planet itself. Pluto's ice plains show gentle patterns created by long-term thermal balance rather than violent forces. Subtle ridges and cells form as frozen nitrogen slowly circulates beneath the surface. This motion is so slow that it resembles stillness, creating structure without disturbance. Because Pluto's gravity is low, falling material settles softly rather than crashing. Any loose ice or dust drifts downward gently, touching the surface without impact. This softness contributes to an environment where nothing arrives abruptly or forcefully. Pluto's lack of active volcanism prevents sudden reshaping of the landscape. There are no eruptions or flowing lava to interrupt the planet's calm. Any internal activity that may exist unfolds gradually, remaining hidden beneath layers of ice and time. The space surrounding Pluto is quiet and spacious, with vast distances between neighbouring objects. This openness allows Pluto to exist without competition or pressure, drifting calmly within a region defined more by emptiness than by activity. Pluto's slow rotation allows temperatures to change gradually across its surface. There are no rapid heating or cooling cycles. Instead, warmth and cold transition softly, maintaining stability and preventing stress on the surface materials. The absence of thick clouds or storms on Pluto means the sky remains mostly clear and still. Any haze that forms does so delicately, settling into layers that do not move quickly or violently, adding to the planet's quiet atmosphere. Pluto's interaction with the solar wind is minimal due to its weak atmosphere and distant location. Charged particles flow past gently, without creating dramatic effects or disruptions, allowing Pluto to remain calm and unaffected. Pluto continues its steady motion through the outer reaches of the solar system, guided by gravity alone, maintaining a quiet balance between movement and stillness as it remains comfortably part of the distant, slow-moving cosmos. Pluto's distance allows it to remain untouched by the constant gravitational adjustments that shape the inner solar system. While closer planets experience frequent interactions, Pluto's path remains largely uninterrupted, giving it a sense of independence that feels quiet and steady rather than isolated. The surface of Pluto shows evidence of slow renewal rather than decay. Ice subtly shifts and smooths over time, gently covering older marks without erasing them completely. This soft renewal allows the landscape to age gracefully, never appearing worn or disturbed. Pluto's environment encourages preservation rather than erosion. Without liquid water or strong winds, surface features remain intact for incredibly long periods. This preservation creates a sense of continuity, where the past remains present without disruption. The sky above Pluto remains dark and still for long stretches of time. With the sun appearing as a small distant light, there is no harsh brightness or rapid movement. This dim sky creates an atmosphere of deep quiet, similar to an endless twilight. Pluto's thin atmosphere forms delicate layers that settle gently around the planet. These layers do not churn or collide. Instead, they remain calm and evenly distributed, adding subtle texture to the space above the surface. Pluto's internal heat, if present, escapes gradually and evenly. There is no buildup of pressure that might lead to sudden release. This gentle dissipation allows the planet to maintain internal balance without surface disruption. The vast emptiness around Pluto gives it room to exist without competition. There are no nearby large bodies crowding its space or altering its motion. This spaciousness allows Pluto to follow its long path without interference. Pluto's slow seasonal cycles allow ice to shift quietly between surface and atmosphere. These transitions happen over decades, giving materials time to move without stress or imbalance, reinforcing the planet's calm rhythm. The muted colours of Pluto reflect a balance between light and shadow. Nothing appears overly bright or sharply dark. This visual softness adds to the planet's peaceful appearance, making it feel restful even when imagined. Pluto continues along its distant orbit with unwavering patience, moving through space at its own steady pace, guided by gravity and time, remaining quietly present within the slow, open expanse of the outer solar system. Pluto's position far beyond the reach of strong sunlight allows its surface to remain stable for extremely long periods. Without intense heating, materials do not expand or contract quickly. This thermal steadiness gives the planet a feeling of quiet endurance, as if it is comfortably settled into its environment. The movement of Pluto through space is guided almost entirely by gravity, without interference from atmospheric drag or magnetic forces. This pure gravitational motion creates a smooth, predictable path that unfolds gently over centuries, reinforcing the sense of calm continuity. Pluto's icy surface reflects light softly rather than sharply. When sunlight touches its plains and ridges, it scatters gently, creating subtle brightness without glare. This softness helps maintain a visually soothing landscape that never feels harsh or overwhelming. The long shadows cast on Pluto move slowly across the surface due to its gradual rotation. These shadows stretch and shift without urgency, allowing light and darkness to transition peacefully rather than abruptly. Pluto's geological features appear shaped by balance rather than pressure. There is no sign of violent folding or fracturing. Instead, ridges and basins settle into the surface gently, suggesting that the planet's internal forces work slowly and evenly. Because Pluto lacks strong atmospheric circulation, there are no storms or fast-moving weather patterns. The environment remains largely unchanged from moment to moment, allowing the surface and sky to feel settled and still. Pluto's moons orbit at distances that allow calm separation. Each moon maintains its own steady path, never rushing or pulling sharply. Their motion feels coordinated yet relaxed, like a slow, silent dance unfolding over time. The materials on Pluto's surface respond slowly to cosmic radiation. Chemical changes happen gradually, taking millions of years to create subtle color shifts. These changes add depth without disruption, enhancing the planet's quiet character. Pluto's small size allows it to cool evenly, preventing internal stress. Without significant heat buildup, there is no pressure to release energy quickly. This internal calm supports the planet's overall stillness. Pluto continues to exist quietly within the Kuiper Belt, sharing space with countless distant objects, moving steadily and patiently, maintaining its presence without interruption as time and space unfold gently around it. Pluto's surface carries the feeling of deep time, where nothing needs to change quickly to remain meaningful. Marks left by ancient impacts soften gradually, blending into the icy terrain rather than standing apart. This slow blending allows the landscape to feel settled, as though it has accepted the passage of time without resistance. The frozen materials on Pluto behave more like slow-moving solids than liquids. Even when nitrogen ice shifts beneath the surface, it does so at a pace measured in millimeters per year. This nearly imperceptible motion creates change without disturbance, allowing the planet to reshape itself while remaining calm and composed. Pluto's distance allows it to experience long periods without significant external influence. Solar flares, radiation bursts, and gravitational shifts weaken before reaching it. By the time these forces arrive, they have softened, leaving Pluto largely undisturbed and quietly protected by distance. The relationship between Pluto and Charon creates a shared rhythm that feels balanced rather than hierarchical. Neither body dominates the other. Their mutual rotation around a common center feels cooperative, reinforcing the idea of shared motion without control or urgency. Pluto's horizon would appear gently curved due to its small size. This subtle curvature gives the surface a contained, intimate feeling, rather than a vast or overwhelming one. The landscape would feel quiet and close, wrap gently around the planet itself. Pluto's surface pressure is so low that even the idea of weather feels distant. There are no pressure fronts colliding or shifting rapidly. The environment remains stable, allowing surface features to persist without interruption. The faint haze layers above Pluto's surface form slowly and remain suspended with little movement. These layers catch light softly, adding depth to the sky without motion. Their stillness contributes to a sense of calm that extends upward as well as outward. Pluto's long orbital period allows it to spend extended time in similar conditions. Rather than cycling quickly through states, it remains within each phase long enough to fully settle. This extended consistency reinforces a feeling of rest rather than transition. Pluto's interaction with nearby Kuiper Belt objects is gentle and distant. These objects share space without frequent encounters, allowing the region to remain quiet and open. Nothing crowds Pluto's path or interrupts its motion. Pluto continues to move along its distant orbit at a steady pace, shaped by gravity and time alone, maintaining a calm presence within the outer solar system as space remains wide and undisturbed around it. Pluto's long exposure to deep space allows its surface to exist in a state of quiet preservation. With very little atmospheric activity and almost no erosion, features remain visible for vast stretches of time. This preservation gives the planet a sense of memory without change, where nothing needs to be replaced or repaired. The gravity on Pluto is gentle enough that standing still would feel effortless. Weight would feel reduced, and movement would require less energy. This softness in physical interaction reflects the planet's overall nature, where forces act quietly and without strain. Pluto's slow seasonal shifts allow surface materials to adjust naturally. Ice does not crack or fracture suddenly as temperatures change. Instead, it adapts gradually, maintaining structural calm across long periods of cold and faint warmth. The distant sun casts a consistent low-angle light across Pluto's surface. This creates an environment where brightness never overwhelms and shadows never disappear completely. The balance between light and dark remains gentle and steady. Pluto's surface chemistry changes over millions of years rather than moments. Cosmic radiation alters molecules slowly, layering complexity without disruption. These changes deepen the surface's appearance without altering its calm presence. Pluto's small size allows internal stresses to release gradually rather than suddenly. Any movement within the planet unfolds quietly, without causing surface disruption. This internal moderation supports the planet's peaceful exterior. The region around Pluto is largely free of debris moving at high speeds. This reduces the frequency of impacts and allows the planet to remain undisturbed. The surrounding space feels calm and spacious rather than crowded or chaotic. Pluto's moons maintain stable orientations that do not vary quickly. Their predictable motion adds to the sense of reliability within the system, where change occurs slowly and consistently. Pluto's faint atmosphere responds delicately to sunlight. As it warms slightly, gases rise gently. As it cools, they settle softly back onto the surface. This cycle feels more like breathing than weather, slow and subtle. Pluto continues its quiet movement through the outer solar system, guided by gravity and time, existing within a vast open region where motion remains steady, space remains calm, and change unfolds gently without interruption. Pluto's place at the edge of the solar system allows it to exist in a region where time feels stretched and spacious. Events do not stack closely together. Instead, moments are separated by long intervals of quiet, giving the impression that Pluto experiences time as something wide and gentle rather than tight or demanding. The surface of Pluto reflects a balance between softness and strength. Ice behaves like stone, yet it carries smooth curves and rounded edges. This combination creates a landscape that feels stable without feeling harsh, reinforcing the planet's calm visual character. Pluto's slow motion through space means that its position against the background stars changes very gradually. The sky would appear almost unchanged night after night, allowing the sense of stillness to extend beyond the surface and into the surrounding cosmos. The lack of intense gravitational stress on Pluto allows its shape to remain consistent. There is no strong compression or stretching. This structural balance contributes to the planet's sense of being settled comfortably into its own form. Pluto's environment allows silence to dominate. With no dense atmosphere to carry sound and no frequent impacts to break stillness, the planet exists in a state of near-perfect quiet, where nothing interrupts the background calm. The materials that make up Pluto's surface respond slowly to temperature differences. Expansion and contraction happen over long periods, preventing sudden cracks or shifts. This gentle response allows the planet to remain visually and structurally calm. Pluto's motion through the Kuiper belt is cooperative rather than competitive. It shares space with countless distant objects, each following its own path without interference. This shared motion reinforces a sense of peaceful coexistence rather than collision. Pluto's distance from large planets reduces tidal stress. Without strong gravitational pulling from nearby giants, Pluto's surface remains relaxed, free from the stretching and squeezing that might otherwise disturb it. The subtle variations in Pluto's surface elevation create gentle slopes rather than sharp cliffs. These smooth transitions give the terrain a restful appearance, as though the planet avoids extremes in shape as well as motion. Pluto continues its slow, steady path around the Sun, maintaining quiet balance within the outer solar system, moving through space with patience and consistency, allowing time and distance to unfold naturally without pressure or urgency. Pluto's great distance from the Sun allows it to exist in a state where external influence is minimal. Solar radiation arrives softly, gravity from other planets weakens with distance, and energetic disturbances fade before reaching it. This insulation by space itself creates an environment where stillness is protected rather than challenged. The passage of time on Pluto feels expansive rather than segmented. Days are long, seasons are longer, and orbital cycles stretch across centuries. This extended timing allows every phase to fully settle before the next begins, creating a rhythm that feels patient and unhurried. Pluto's icy surface holds temperature evenly, preventing sharp thermal contrasts. Without sudden heating or cooling, the landscape avoids stress and fracture. This thermal stability allows the planet to maintain its form quietly, without the need for constant adjustment. The faint sunlight that reaches Pluto never fully dominates its sky. Even at its brightest, the Sun remains distant and small, allowing darkness and light to coexist gently. This balance creates an environment where brightness never overwhelms stillness. Pluto's surface features appear shaped by gentle persistence rather than force. Wide plains, shallow basins, and rounded ridges suggest processes that operate slowly and consistently, reinforcing the sense that Pluto evolved through patience rather than pressure. The quiet surrounding space allows Pluto's gravitational influence to extend softly without resistance. Objects that pass nearby respond smoothly, following curved paths rather than sharp turns. This gentle guidance creates motion that feels cooperative rather than imposed. Pluto's atmosphere, when present, forms thin layers that settle calmly above the surface. These layers do not churn or collapse suddenly. Instead, they remain suspended gently, contributing to a feeling of softness in the space above the planet. The lack of frequent impacts on Pluto allows its surface to remain largely uninterrupted. Long stretches of time pass without significant disturbance, allowing the landscape to rest undisturbed and maintain continuity across eras. Pluto's motion relative to Earth is so slow that it appears almost fixed against the distant stars. This near stillness in the sky reinforces the impression that Pluto exists outside the rush of planetary movement, anchored calmly in deep space. Pluto continues along its distant path with steady patience, existing quietly within the outer solar system shaped by slow gravity and long time, remaining present without urgency as space stays wide and undisturbed around it. Pluto's surface exists in a state of quiet balance, where nothing is pushed to extremes. Elevations rise and fall gently, without sharp cliffs or sudden drops. This softness in shape gives the landscape a restful quality, as though the planet avoids abrupt transitions even in its terrain. The cold on Pluto is not harsh or biting, but steady and consistent. Temperatures remain low for such long periods that the environment feels settled into cold rather than reacting to it. This consistency removes shock from the experience of temperature, allowing everything to remain calm and unchanged. Pluto's relationship with sunlight is distant and respectful. Light arrives softly, spreads thinly, and fades without drama. There is no intense glare or rapid shift, only a slow presence that moves across the surface with patience. The frozen plains of Pluto appear smooth because change happens from within rather than from above. Ice slowly circulates beneath the surface over immense spans of time, gently renewing the landscape without disturbing its overall calm. Pluto's internal structure supports long-term stability. Any remaining heat within the planet escapes slowly and evenly, preventing pressure from building. This gentle release allows Pluto to remain internally quiet as well as externally still. The vast distance between Pluto and the inner solar system allows it to exist beyond constant gravitational conversation. While closer planets influence one another frequently, Pluto experiences long stretches of isolation that feel peaceful rather than empty. Pluto's atmosphere, when it expands, does so delicately. Gases lift gently from the surface without turbulence, creating a thin envelope that feels more like a whisper than a layer. This softness keeps the space around Pluto calm and undisturbed. The slow pace of Pluto's seasonal cycles allows materials to settle fully into each phase. Ice has time to freeze, rest, and remain in place for decades before any change begins. This extended settling reinforces the planet's deep sense of stillness. Pluto's motion through the Kuiper belt is quiet and predictable. Nearby objects follow their own paths without crossing too closely. This separation maintains a peaceful arrangement where nothing competes for space or attention. Pluto continues to exist calmly at the edge of the solar system, guided by gravity and time, holding its place within a vast, open region where motion remains slow, space remains wide, and change unfolds gently without interruption. Pluto's surface carries an overall sense of quiet symmetry, not because it is perfectly even, but because differences are softened by time. High and low regions blend into one another gradually, creating a landscape that feels settled rather than dramatic, shaped by patience rather than force. The long absence of liquid water on Pluto prevents rapid reshaping. Without flowing streams or waves, the planet avoids constant renewal through erosion. Instead, its surface remains steady, allowing features to persist gently, giving Pluto a feeling of long-term calm and continuity. Pluto's slow spin allows temperatures to distribute evenly across its surface. Heat does not rush from one side to another. This gentle balance prevents stress within surface materials, allowing ice and rock to remain stable and undisturbed. The faint sunlight that reaches Pluto never overwhelms its environment. Even during its closest approach to the Sun, light remains soft and distant. This gentle illumination allows shadows and brightness to coexist calmly, creating a visual rhythm that feels soothing rather than sharp. Pluto's internal layers appear to have settled into equilibrium long ago. Without strong tidal forces to disturb them, these layers remain quietly aligned, supporting the planet's overall sense of internal peace. The quiet emptiness surrounding Pluto allows it to exist without interruption. There are no nearby large bodies passing frequently, no gravitational noise to adjust to. This isolation creates a protective stillness, where Pluto can simply continue being what it is. Pluto's surface ice responds slowly to even the smallest changes. Expansion and contraction occur so gradually that the surface remains smooth and unbroken. This slow response reinforces the planet's calm and measured nature. Pluto's distant position means that cosmic events elsewhere in the galaxy arrive weakened. Shock waves and radiation lose intensity before reaching it, allowing Pluto to remain largely unaffected by distant disturbances. The alignment between Pluto and its moons remains consistent over long periods. Their movements are predictable and calm, creating a system where nothing surprises or disrupts the overall balance. Pluto continues its steady journey around the Sun, moving patiently through space, guided quietly by gravity and time, maintaining a gentle presence within the wide, silent reaches of the outer solar system. Pluto's surface feels calm because it has learned how to exist without reacting. Instead of responding quickly to small changes, it absorbs them slowly, allowing time to smooth everything out. This quiet acceptance gives the planet a settled, untroubled character. The cold on Pluto acts like a stabilizing presence rather than a harsh condition. Temperatures remain consistently low for such long periods that the environment becomes comfortable in its stillness. Nothing rushes to adjust, and nothing strains to survive. Pluto's long exposure to cosmic darkness allows the sky to remain steady and quiet. Stars appear fixed and unmoving for long stretches of time, reinforcing the sense that the universe around Pluto moves gently and without urgency. The ice on Pluto's surface behaves predictably, remaining solid and calm. It does not melt suddenly or flow rapidly. Instead, it rests in place, shaped slowly by time rather than motion. Pluto's distance from energetic solar activity allows it to remain free from frequent disturbances. Solar flares and storms lose their strength long before reaching it, leaving Pluto in a protected state of quiet isolation. Pluto's interior pressure remains low compared to larger planets. Without intense compression, the planet avoids internal instability. This gentle internal balance supports its calm exterior. The relationship between Pluto's surface and its atmosphere is subtle and slow. Gases rise and settle without turbulence, creating a soft exchange that feels more like a gradual shift than a cycle. Pluto's small size allows it to cool evenly, preventing internal stress from building. Heat escapes quietly, without triggering surface disruption or sudden change. The surrounding Kuiper belt provides Pluto with a spacious environment where nothing crowds its path. Objects remain distant, allowing Pluto to continue its journey without interference. Pluto moves forward through space at its own steady pace, maintaining quiet balance and gentle motion within the outer solar system, where time remains wide and unhurried. Pluto's environment feels calm because it has never needed to compete for warmth or light. From its earliest formation, it settled into a distant path where conditions remained consistently quiet. This long-term consistency allows Pluto to exist without adaptation or struggle, reinforcing its sense of peaceful permanence. The faint glow of sunlight on Pluto creates a world of soft contrast rather than sharp definition. Light spreads thinly across the surface, gently outlining plains and ridges without overwhelming them. This muted illumination supports a visual stillness that feels naturally restful. Pluto's surface layers appear to rest comfortably atop one another. Ice, rock, and frozen gases form quiet strata that do not shift rapidly or collapse. This layered stability gives the impression that Pluto is calmly holding itself together, without tension or internal pressure. The silence surrounding Pluto is deep and uninterrupted. With no thick atmosphere to carry sound and no frequent impact to break the quiet, the planet exists in near total stillness. This silence is not empty but full of presence, allowing space itself to feel settled. Pluto's motion relative to distant stars is so slow that change is barely noticeable. Over long periods, its position drifts gently against the background, reinforcing the feeling that Pluto exists outside ordinary measures of motion and time. The The materials on Pluto's surface are resilient in their cold state. Ice remains firm and unchanged for decades at a time, allowing the landscape to persist without erosion. This resilience contributes to a sense of quiet endurance rather than fragility. Pluto's lack of strong internal activity allows its surface to remain undisturbed. There are no sudden shifts, no tremors, and no eruptions. Any internal changes that do occur remain subtle and deeply buried beneath layers of ice and time. The gravitational balance between Pluto and its moons remains steady and predictable. Their paths do not wobble or drift unexpectedly. This reliability creates a feeling of trust within the system, where motion unfolds gently and without surprise. Pluto's isolation reduces the frequency of encounters with other objects. This separation allows long stretches of time to pass without interruption, reinforcing the planet's calm rhythm and uninterrupted presence. Pluto continues its quiet progression through the outer solar system, moving steadily along its distant orbit, supported by gravity and time, remaining calmly present within the wide, silent expanse of space. Pluto's long history allows it to exist without needing to reinvent itself. For billions of years, it has followed a similar path through space, experiencing slow cycles of light and darkness without sudden transformation. This continuity creates a feeling of deep stability, as though Pluto has settled into its role comfortably and without effort. The frozen surface of Pluto acts like a quiet archive of time. Layers of ice preserve subtle patterns formed long ago, remaining visible because nothing moves quickly enough to erase them. This preservation allows the planet to hold its past gently, without being shaped aggressively by the present. Pluto's distance from the Sun allows the sky to remain dark even during daylight hours. The Sun appears as a small, steady point of light rather than a dominating presence. This subdued sky contributes to an atmosphere where brightness never overwhelms stillness. The slow exchange between Pluto's surface and atmosphere unfolds without disruption. Gases rise softly when warmed and settle back gently when cooled, creating a subtle rhythm that resembles breathing rather than weather. This quiet exchange reinforces the planet's calm environment. Pluto's interior appears to have reached a long-term balance. Any remaining heat disperses gradually, preventing pressure from building. This internal calm mirrors the stillness seen on the surface, creating harmony between inside and out. The emptiness surrounding Pluto provides a sense of spacious calm. With few nearby objects and vast distances between them, Pluto exists in an environment that feels open rather than crowded. This spaciousness allows motion to feel unhurried and free. Pluto's surface features soften with age rather than sharpen. Edges blur, contrasts fade, and everything settles into smoother forms. This gentle aging gives the planet a restful appearance, as if time itself moves softly here. The gravitational influence Pluto experiences from distant planets remains gentle and predictable. There are no sudden tugs or shifts in direction. This consistency allows Pluto's orbit to remain steady, reinforcing the feeling of cosmic calm. Pluto's slow rotation allows each region to experience light and darkness evenly. Nothing is rushed into change. Each phase has time to fully arrive and fully pass, creating a balanced rhythm that allows the planet to rest within its cycles. Pluto continues along its distant path through space, moving steadily and quietly within the outer solar system, guided by gravity and time, maintaining a calm presence as the universe unfolds gently around it. Pluto's presence feels calming because it exists without urgency or expectation. It does not rush to complete an orbit, nor does it hurry through seasons. Everything unfolds at a pace set by distance and gravity, allowing time itself to feel softer and less demanding in its presence. The frozen surface of Pluto absorbs change rather than reacting to it. When temperatures shift slightly, the ice responds gradually, adjusting without cracking or stress. This slow response creates a sense of quiet resilience, where nothing feels fragile or strained. Pluto's sky remains largely unchanged for long periods. With little atmospheric movement and minimal weather, the view above the surface stays steady and predictable. This consistency adds to the feeling that Pluto exists in a state of long-lasting calm. The vast stretches of darkness surrounding Pluto are not empty or threatening, but gentle and still. Darkness here feels like rest rather than absence, allowing the planet to exist comfortably within deep space without contrast or tension. Pluto's weak gravity allows even tiny movements to feel slow and graceful. Any object drifting near the surface would descend gently, without force. This softness in motion reflects the planet's overall peaceful character. The materials that make up Pluto's surface remain stable because they are not exposed to rapid cycles of melting and freezing. Instead, they remain frozen for decades or centuries, allowing the landscape to feel settled and undisturbed. Pluto's moons continue their quiet orbits without variation. Their paths remain smooth and reliable, adding to the sense that Pluto's system is one of balance rather than complexity or chaos. The distance between Pluto and the Sun allows energy to arrive gently and evenly. There are no sudden bursts of warmth or light. This steady input keeps the environment calm and prevents dramatic shifts. Pluto's long-term isolation allows it to exist without frequent interruption. Nothing arrives suddenly, and nothing leaves abruptly. This continuity supports a feeling of uninterrupted rest across time. Pluto moves onward through space with patient consistency, maintaining its steady rhythm within the outer solar system, where motion remains slow, space remains wide, and change continues gently without demand. Pluto's steady existence feels calming because it does not respond to change with urgency. When its environment shifts slightly, the planet remains composed, allowing time to soften every transition. This patience creates a sense that nothing here ever needs immediate attention. The faint starlight surrounding Pluto appears sharp and unmoving due to the lack of atmospheric distortion. Stars do not flicker or blur. They remain quietly fixed in place, contributing to a sky that feels stable, orderly, and deeply still. Pluto's surface textures reflect long periods of rest. Ice grains settle into smooth arrangements, undisturbed by wind or liquid flow. This quiet settling creates landscapes that appear calm and complete, as if they have already found their natural form. The planet's distance allows it to exist beyond the rhythm of inner solar system events. While closer worlds experience frequent gravitational conversations, Pluto remains mostly untouched, moving through time without constant adjustment. Pluto's lack of strong magnetic activity means there are no energetic disturbances above its surface. Space around it remains quiet and undramatic, allowing charged particles to pass without creating visible effects or noise. The balance between Pluto and its moons creates a feeling of mutual steadiness. Their shared gravitational relationship unfolds smoothly, without tension or imbalance, allowing the entire system to feel settled and predictable. Pluto's cold environment encourages preservation rather than decay. Materials remain intact for long periods, allowing features to endure without erosion. This endurance gives the planet a sense of quiet strength beneath its softness. The slow pace of Pluto's orbital motion allows it to remain in familiar conditions for decades at a time. This continuity prevents abrupt shifts and reinforces a sense of extended calm. Pluto's surface reflects a muted palette shaped by time and chemistry rather than activity. Colors blend gently, avoiding sharp contrast, creating a visual softness that feels restful and unassuming. Pluto continues its gentle progression through deep space, following its distant path with calm consistency, remaining quietly present within the vast outer solar system as time and distance unfold slowly around it. Pluto's long residence in deep space allows it to exist without interruption from frequent external forces. Years and even centuries pass without meaningful disturbance, giving the planet an enduring sense of quiet continuity that feels deeply settled. The gentle curve of Pluto's horizon reflects its small size and balanced shape. Nothing feels overwhelming or vast from its surface. Instead, the landscape would feel contained and calm, as though the planet holds itself together softly. Pluto's surface materials remain arranged in stable patterns for immense periods of time. Without wind or liquid erosion, these arrangements persist quietly, reinforcing the feeling that nothing here needs to be reshaped quickly. The silence surrounding Pluto is layered rather than empty. Beneath the absence of sound lies motion that is slow and orderly, allowing stillness and movement to coexist without conflict. Pluto's distance allows it to experience cosmic events as distant whispers rather than immediate impacts. Energetic changes elsewhere in the universe fade into softness by the time they arrive, leaving Pluto largely undisturbed. The steady balance between Pluto's rotation and orbit creates predictable rhythms. Light, darkness, warmth, and cold follow long patterns that repeat gently, allowing the planet to rest within familiar cycles. Pluto's frozen surface reflects time rather than activity. Every feature carries the mark of long duration, reminding us that persistence can shape a world just as gently as motion. The planet's minimal interaction with surrounding matter allows it to remain self-contained. Nothing accumulates quickly, and nothing is stripped away, preserving Pluto's quiet integrity. Pluto's slow gravitational influence extends outward without force, guiding nearby space gently rather than pulling sharply. This softness in interaction contributes to the planet's peaceful presence. Pluto continues its calm journey through the far reaches of the solar system, moving steadily and quietly, shaped by gravity and time, existing comfortably within the vast open stillness of deep space. Pluto feels peaceful because it does not experience rapid cycles of activity and rest. Instead, it remains in a near-constant state of quiet presence, where changes blend into one another so gradually that they feel almost timeless. This steady continuity allows the planet to exist without interruption or pressure. The frozen gases on Pluto's surface form delicate layers that rest lightly upon one another. These layers do not compress or fracture quickly. They remain settled, creating a surface that feels softly held together by cold and time rather than force. Pluto's distant position allows its environment to remain free from constant bombardment. Micrometeorites arrive infrequently, and when they do, their impact is gentle compared to closer regions of the solar system. This rarity of disturbance helps preserve Pluto's calm exterior. The light reflecting off Pluto's ice does not shimmer or flicker. It appears steady and muted, creating a visual stillness that mirrors the planet's slow physical rhythms. Nothing sparkles or flashes, allowing the eyes and mind to remain at ease. Pluto's internal structure has likely reached a long-term equilibrium. Without strong tidal forces or internal heating, its layers remain settled, supporting the idea of a world that has found balance and no longer needs to adjust. The planet's slow movement against the cosmic background allows its presence to feel anchored rather than fleeting. Over many nights, Pluto would appear nearly unchanged in the sky, reinforcing the sensation of stability and quiet permanence. Pluto's cold environment prevents rapid chemical reactions. Molecules remain stable for long periods, allowing surface materials to age slowly rather than transform quickly. This chemical calm adds to the planet's overall sense of rest. The vast space around Pluto allows soundless distance to dominate its surroundings. With nothing nearby to interact closely, the planet exists within a cushion of emptiness that feels protective rather than isolating. Pluto's gravitational relationship with distant objects unfolds smoothly, without sudden acceleration or sharp deviation. Paths curve gently, reinforcing the idea that motion here is guided rather than forced. Pluto continues along its distant path through space with unbroken patience, maintaining its slow rhythm within the outer solar system, where time stretches wide and movement remains soft and undemanding. Pluto feels tranquil because it exists without comparison. It does not measure itself against larger planets or brighter worlds. It simply remains where it is, following its own quiet path, allowing its identity to be shaped by time rather than scale. The cold that surrounds Pluto acts like a soft pause rather than an extreme condition. At such low temperatures, motion slows naturally. Molecules settle, reactions quiet down, and the environment finds a steady state that feels deeply restful rather than harsh. Pluto's surface does not demand attention through dramatic features. There are no towering volcanoes or raging storms. Instead, the land rests in subtle variations, encouraging observation to slow down and soften rather than focus sharply. The long darkness Pluto experiences is not sudden or unsettling. Night arrives gradually and stays gently, allowing the surface to rest beneath starlight for extended periods. This extended night feels like an invitation to stillness rather than an absence of activity. Pluto's weak gravity allows even the idea of falling to feel gentle. Any motion toward the surface would be slow and unforced, reinforcing the sense that nothing here ever needs to arrive quickly or land with impact. The faint atmosphere of Pluto never presses down on the surface. Instead, it hovers lightly, expanding and contracting without weight. This lightness gives the planet an open, breathable feeling, even in the cold vacuum of space. Pluto's surface ice holds memory without motion. Patterns formed long ago remain visible because nothing rushes to erase them. This quiet preservation allows time to feel layered rather than fleeting. The planet's distance from planetary traffic allows long stretches of silence to pass uninterrupted. There are no close flybys, no frequent shadows crossing the surface. This absence of interruption gives Pluto a steady, uninterrupted rhythm. Pluto's relationship with the Sun is gentle and respectful. Energy arrives slowly, stays briefly, and fades again without intensity. This soft exchange prevents stress and allows the planet to remain comfortably unchanged. Pluto continues moving through the outer solar system without urgency or destination, maintaining its slow, steady presence within deep space, where motion remains smooth, time remains wide, and calm persists without effort. Pluto feels calming because it exists without the need to react to change. Its environment is so steady that even small variations unfold over long stretches of time. This slowness removes any sense of pressure, allowing the planet to remain composed and unhurried in every condition. The ice that covers Pluto's surface behaves like a quiet foundation, rather than a shifting layer. It remains firm and settled, holding its shape gently. This firmness without tension gives the planet a grounded, peaceful quality, as though it is resting comfortably in its own form. Pluto's long exposure to cosmic stillness allows its surroundings to feel spacious and open. There is no crowding of objects or overlapping paths. Space around Pluto feels wide and breathable, allowing motion to occur without friction or interference. The dim light that reaches Pluto spreads evenly rather than concentrating in one place. This even distribution prevents sharp contrasts and allows the landscape to appear softly lit, maintaining a visual calm that feels soothing rather than dramatic. Pluto's slow internal cooling process prevents sudden shifts beneath the surface. Any remaining warmth escapes gradually, never forcing its way outward. This gentle release allows the planet to remain internally settled as well as externally still. The absence of rapid chemical activity on Pluto means surface materials remain stable for immense periods. Molecules do not rush to react or transform. This chemical quietness contributes to an overall sense of rest embedded deeply within the planet. Pluto's small size allows gravity to act gently rather than firmly. Objects influenced by it follow slow, curved paths instead of sharp trajectories. This softness in motion makes the surrounding space feel calm and predictable. The long intervals between notable events on Pluto allow the planet to remain undisturbed for generations at a time. Nothing demands attention quickly, and nothing arrives suddenly. This uninterrupted continuity reinforces the feeling of deep rest. Pluto's distant orbit allows it to remain emotionally neutral within the solar system. It does not dominate, and it is not overshadowed. It simply exists alongside other worlds, maintaining its quiet presence without comparison or competition. Pluto continues its steady movement through the outer reaches of space, guided by gravity and time alone, existing calmly within a vast open region where motion remains gentle and the rhythm of the universe stays slow and unforced. Pluto feels restful because it exists in a region where nothing is expected to change quickly. Its surroundings encourage patience rather than reaction. This absence of pressure allows the planet to remain composed, as though it has all the time it needs to simply remain as it is. The frozen materials on Pluto's surface have adapted to extreme cold so completely that they no longer react dramatically to it. Ice remains solid and settled, forming a stable foundation that does not crack or shift suddenly. This acceptance of cold contributes to the planet's overall calm. Pluto's slow pace through space allows gravitational forces to act smoothly rather than abruptly. There are no sudden accelerations or sharp turns. Motion unfolds gently, guided by balance instead of force, making the planet's journey feel effortless. The faint light that reaches Pluto never creates glare. Instead, it softly outlines shapes and textures, allowing details to appear gradually. This gentle illumination encourages the eye to relax rather than focus sharply. Pluto's distance from Earth means it remains free from constant observation. Without attention shaping its identity, it continues quietly on its path, unchanged by perception. This independence reinforces a sense of calm self-containment. The surface of Pluto holds its features without erosion from flowing liquids. Without water carving channels or waves reshaping edges, the land remains stable. This stability gives the planet a feeling of long-lasting rest rather than ongoing activity. Pluto's weak gravity allows fine particles to settle gently rather than compress tightly. Layers form slowly and lightly, creating surfaces that feel soft and unstrained, even though they are solid. The surrounding space near Pluto is quiet and uncluttered. Objects remain far apart, allowing movement to occur without interaction. This openness gives the region a peaceful spaciousness that supports calm rather than motion. Pluto's internal structure has likely remained unchanged for immense spans of time. Without strong forces pushing or pulling from within, its layers remain aligned and settled, mirroring the stillness seen on the surface. Pluto continues to move calmly through the outer solar system, following its long, gentle orbit with steady patience, remaining quietly present within a vast and open region where time moves slowly and space remains undisturbed. Pluto feels peaceful because it has never needed to respond quickly to its environment. From its formation onward, conditions have remained steady enough that urgency never developed. This long familiarity with stillness allows the planet to exist without tension or alertness. The extreme distance between Pluto and the Sun allows warmth to arrive gradually and leave just as slowly. There is no sharp transition between cold and slightly less cold. This smooth thermal balance prevents stress and keeps the planet settled in its frozen calm. Pluto's surface does not echo with vibrational movement. Without a thick atmosphere to transmit energy, the ground remains quiet and still, This deep silence gives the planet a feeling of being gently wrapped in space itself. The subtle color variations on Pluto are shaped by chemistry rather than motion. Changes happen molecule by molecule over long periods, allowing hues to deepen softly instead of shifting suddenly. This slow coloring process adds richness without disturbance. Pluto's orbit allows it to spend long stretches of time far from gravitational complexity. During these periods, its motion feels almost solitary, guided only by distant forces that act steadily and without interruption. The ice on Pluto behaves like a patient record of time. Layers accumulate and remain undisturbed, holding their form without compression. This quiet layering gives the surface a sense of memory that feels calm rather than heavy. Pluto's sky remains free from rapid change. Without clouds racing across it or storms forming and dissolving, the view above stays consistent. This steadiness allows the sense of calm to extend upward as well as outward. The slow passage of Pluto through the Kuiper Belt allows surrounding space to feel respectful rather than crowded. Objects maintain distance, and paths do not intersect often. This natural spacing supports a feeling of ease and freedom. Pluto's interior does not push outward with force. Any remaining energy diffuses gently, preventing upheaval. This inward calm supports the planet's quiet surface and reinforces its stable presence. Pluto continues its slow movement through deep space, guided by gravity and time alone, maintaining a steady rhythm within the outer solar system, where motion remains soft and the universe unfolds without demand. Pluto feels calm because it exists without urgency to change its identity. Its form, motion and environment have remained largely consistent for billions of years. This long continuity allows the planet to feel settled, as though it has already arrived at a comfortable state and does not need to adjust further. The frozen surface of Pluto absorbs motion rather than amplifying it. Any small shifts within the ice occur slowly and quietly, spreading out over time instead of concentrating into noticeable movement. This diffusion of motion keeps the planet's surface calm and undisturbed. Pluto's great distance allows it to experience the universe as a quiet background rather than an active stage. Events that feel significant closer to the Sun become distant and softened here, allowing Pluto to exist in a calm, reduced version of cosmic activity. The slow accumulation of frost on Pluto's surface happens without sound or pressure. Thin layers settle gently, adding to the landscape without altering its shape. This delicate layering reinforces the sense that change here arrives softly and leaves no disturbance behind. Pluto's orbit carries it through vast regions of empty space where nothing interrupts its path. This uninterrupted travel creates a feeling of solitude that is peaceful rather than lonely, supported by the steady pull of gravity and the openness of space. The lack of biological activity on Pluto means the surface remains free from cycles of growth and decay. Nothing spreads, nothing competes, and nothing consumes resources. This absence of biological urgency allows the planet to remain in a stable, restful state. Pluto's ice-rich terrain reflects light gently, preventing glare or harsh contrast. Even when sunlight touches the surface, it diffuses softly, allowing the landscape to remain visually calm and easy to imagine. Pluto's small mass allows it to respond gently to gravitational forces. It does not exert strong pulls or experience violent tugs. This moderation keeps motion smooth and prevents sudden shifts in directional speed. The quiet chemical environment on Pluto allows reactions to proceed slowly, if at all. Molecules remain stable for long periods, reinforcing the planet's sense of chemical stillness and long-term balance. Pluto continues moving through the outer solar system with patient consistency, maintaining its gentle pace through space, supported by time and gravity, remaining calm and steady within the wide, silent reaches beyond the familiar planets. Pluto feels soothing because it exists in a place where nothing competes for space. The distances between objects are so wide that motion happens without interference. This openness allows Pluto to move freely, as though the universe has given it room to breathe. The frozen plains of Pluto appear settled because they are shaped by balance rather than force. Subtle internal movements redistribute ice slowly, smoothing the surface over long spans of time. This quiet reshaping allows the land to remain calm without becoming static. Pluto's long exposure to darkness allows the surface to cool evenly. Without rapid heating, materials remain relaxed in their frozen state. This steady cold removes tension and helps maintain the planet's tranquil stability. The lack of dramatic lighting on Pluto allows the landscape to exist without sharp contrast. Light and shadow blend gently, creating a visual environment that feels soft and unpressured, encouraging the mind to slow down. Pluto's position far from major planetary traffic reduces the likelihood of sudden encounters. Objects pass at great distances, if at all. This separation protects Pluto's quiet rhythm and allows time to unfold without interruption. The ice on Pluto retains its form because it is not challenged by frequent change. Without cycles of melting and refreezing, surfaces remain intact. This consistency gives the planet a sense of calm permanence rather than fragility. Pluto's slow journey through space allows gravity to guide rather than pull. Its motion feels like drifting rather than travelling, reinforcing the sense that nothing here is in a hurry to arrive anywhere. The surrounding Kuiper belt provides Pluto with companionship at a distance. Other icy bodies share the region, each following its own path without collision. This quiet coexistence creates a peaceful sense of shared space without crowding. Pluto's environment encourages stillness rather than reaction. Changes arrive so slowly that they are absorbed gently, allowing the planet to remain composed even as time continues forward. Pluto continues its steady passage through the outer solar system, guided by gravity and long time, existing calmly within a wide, open region where movement remains gentle and the universe maintains its quiet rhythm. Pluto feels gentle because it exists without needing to be efficient. Nothing on this distant world is optimized for speed or productivity. Processes unfold slowly simply because there is no reason for them to hurry, allowing the planet to remain relaxed within its own pace. The deep cold on Pluto acts like a natural pause button. Molecular motion slows, reactions quiet down, and materials settle into long-term stability. This slowing effect spreads across the entire planet, creating an environment where rest feels built into the fabric of existence. Pluto's surface does not demand constant renewal. Without erosion or biological cycles, it does not need to refresh itself repeatedly. Instead, it remains as it is, allowing time to pass without forcing visible change. The faint presence of sunlight on Pluto never interrupts the surrounding darkness. Even during its brightest moments, light blends gently into shadow, creating an environment where illumination and stillness coexist peacefully. Pluto's weak gravitational pull allows nearby particles to drift rather than fall. Motion happens softly, without acceleration, giving space around the planet a floating quality that feels calm and unstrained. The long silence around Pluto is uninterrupted by artificial signals or frequent natural noise. Nothing transmits sound and nothing echoes. This uninterrupted quiet allows the mind to imagine stillness without interruption or expectation. Pluto's surface patterns feel unhurried because they are shaped over immense spans of time. No feature looks rushed or newly formed. Everything appears settled, as though it has had more than enough time to become what it is. Pluto's place in the solar system allows it to remain largely unaffected by the changing activity of the Sun. Solar cycles pass quietly in the distance, arriving softened and diluted, leaving the planet undisturbed. The slow pace of Pluto's orbital motion means it experiences the universe as a gradual unfolding rather than a sequence of events. Space shifts around it gently, reinforcing a feeling of continuity rather than transition. Pluto continues its calm movement through the far reaches of space, guided by gravity and time alone, maintaining a steady rhythm within a wide, quiet region, where motion remains soft and the universe feels unhurried. As this quiet journey around Pluto begins to soften into the background, there is nothing left to follow and nothing that needs to be held in mind. Pluto can continue its slow path far beyond awareness, moving patiently through space whether it is observed or not. You may notice your thoughts becoming lighter now, less defined, like distant points of light fading gently into the darkness. There is no need to gather them or make sense of them. Just as Pluto does not hurry through its orbit, your mind does not need to hurry toward rest. Let your breathing remain easy and unforced. Let your body rest exactly where it is. Imagine yourself drifting in that far, quiet region beyond the familiar planets, supported by distance, by stillness, and by time that moves slowly and without demand. Pluto reminds us that calm does not come from warmth or closeness, but from steadiness and patience. Even at the edge of the solar system, balance exists, quietly holding everything in place. Thank you for spending this time with the Sleepy Scientist. Whenever the world feels loud or the day feels heavy, you're always welcome to return to these gentle explorations, where science moves slowly and rest arrives naturally. For now, allow the quiet to remain. Let the cold, distant calm of Pluto continue softly beyond thought, and let whatever comes next arrive on its own, without effort, without expectation, and without any need to end. Good night.